All right. Let me welcome everybody officially to this 1 day free script writing training. Um, my name is Damola Adenle, and I'm the director here at Lagos Film School. Um, at Lagos Film School, we run courses in all of the complete gamut of filmmaking, producing, directing, acting, script writing, cinematography, video editing, even VFX. Okay, and as the year is coming to an end, we decided to do a couple of courses. We did cinematography and video editing last week because I know there will be some individuals who, at the beginning of this year, had it in mind to learn script writing or to learn filmmaking or any of the. Okay, so we're trying to see if we can help you achieve that dream such that before the year runs out, you can still get some of the things on your items checked. Quick disclaimer before we go ahead. Um, this training covers three major things will be done in this training. One, there is a master class in how to write scripts. Two, we'll talk about what producers look for when they want to buy scripts. And thirdly, how you can get to sell your script, pitch your scripts. I think I've said this a number of times today. Now, all of those three things we will do irrespective of where all of this is going to. We have a paid class. I would announce that at the end of today. But you don't have any reason to commit to that. It's none of your business. If you want to take the paid class, it's fine. If you don't want to, it's 100% fine. We're just giving value today, and this is not the first time we're doing this. We do this roughly every 3 months, and in 2026, we hope to be able to do this every month, meaning just do a pure value giveaway to people. Learn what you can. If you want to learn more, join the school. But what you have learned in that 1 or 2 hours is yours to keep. And that is what we're doing this evening. So I hope I'm clear as it concerns what exactly it is we'll be doing this evening. We'll be teaching. You will learn a lot. Whether you commit to taking our paid class or not, that is by the side. Okay, so having said that, let's move forward. Let's start with the master class on how to write a screenplay. Before I go ahead, though, I should ask. Um, there are three major categories of people I'm expecting in class today. Let me know which category you fall in. Are you in category A? You are a newbie. You've not written any scripts before, or maybe you've done some novel writing, but you want to learn how to write scripts properly. If that is you, you fall in category A. Just type A in the comment section in the chat so I can identify those who fall in that category. Category B is for those who you've been writing scripts. However, you've not been able to get any script sold. That is you. If that is you, you're in category B. Please indicate and type B if you fall in category B. Category C is for those who are quite mature at this script writing thing. You've written a couple of scripts, maybe you've sold one, two, but you're not selling as much as you would have loved to. So you're here primarily for the connect. You're here because you feel we can be able to connect you to producers, introduce you, or at least you learn how to do that on your own and be able to sell your scripts. So please type in the chat section. Let's know which of these three categories you fall in. Category A, you're a newbie. Category B, you have an idea of how this script thing works, but you want to learn how to sell your script. And then category C, you've been doing this for a while, yeah. You've sold a couple of scripts, but you'd want to widen your net as to where and how to sell scripts. Okay, okay, this is nice. All right. For today, I'm going to speak to the newbies first. Those who um want to know how to write, don't know how to, yeah, and they want to pick out some measure of value today. And you might be surprised if you think you know how to write scripts, you've written scripts before now, yeah, you might be surprised that you would also pick up a number of things along the way today also. But let's go. Let's start with what is a story. There are different ways we can define a story. This is the way I prefer to define a story. It connects to what we do as writers easier because you need to know what a story is if you'll be writing stories. So, number one is a story is someone, in this case, your main character, who's trying to do something. This something they are trying to do is their goal or their need. However, an obstacle stands in the way of your main character achieving that goal. So you see the process of an obstacle standing in the way of the goal is what we call conflict. In some places, conflict is what they call suspense. When they say they want a film that has a lot of suspense, what they're referring to is a film that has obstacles in the way of your main character that leads to conflict. Now, the action your main character takes to overcome or sometimes to succumb to the obstacle is what your story is about. How you lay out that tale is the plot or the structure of your film. Let me say that again. There are two things involved. There is a story and there is a plot. The story is, why is my screen flickering in and out? Okay. The story is um your character, what they want to do, what stands in their way that gives conflict. You telling the story from beginning to the end is different from the plot. The plot is the sequence, the order in which you tell the story for it to have an impact on the audience, to grip the audience. A lot of times, writers don't know what exactly their job is. Filmmakers generally, but especially writers. The job of a writer, please note everybody, the job of a writer is to tell a story in such a way that you make the audience feel a certain way, a particular way over a period of time. Meaning, at this point in time, you want them to laugh and they laugh. At this point in time, you want them to cry and they cry. Then you've done your job well. Your job is to take the audience on a roller coaster ride from the beginning of the film to the end. Your job is not just to tell a story, your job is to tell a story that impacts the viewer for that 90 minutes that they're watching the film. Most writers just go about writing a story, say the story is sweet. It is above and beyond the story being sweet. It is the fact that you can communicate emotions, you can communicate value, you can communicate impact. I mean, that is essentially what our work is as writers. Let me move away from there quickly because there's a lot to talk about. So the summary for this initial introduction of this, which is what is a story, is this. That to have a story at all, you must have an interesting character. That character should have a well-defined goal. The harder it is to achieve the goal, the better it is. Your story will be the better off if the character's goal is a little hard to achieve. The easier the goal is, the more watery your film is. And then finally, it should have a nearly insurmountable obstacle, meaning just as much as the goal is difficult to achieve, the obstacle against the goal should also be harder. That is when audiences root for your character, the main subject, as much as possible. All right, let's go to chapter two, which is chapter one is what is a story. Chapter two is, remember what we're talking about is we're doing a short masterclass on how to write a screenplay. I mean, a screenplay that you can sell and will make a world of sense to whoever is reading and wants to buy. Okay, chapter one was what is a story. Chapter two is the major elements of a script. I mean, if you have these elements in your film, not only would it be engaging and beautiful to watch, it is what would make a producer want to buy. We're talking of Netflix standard kind of scripts. All right, so the first element your script should have is a theme or a message. The most important element you need to be able to complete your script is what you're trying to say or communicate. If you don't have, this is what I teach, this is the number one thing I teach script writers. If you don't have something to say, don't bother writing a story. If you don't have something specific to say, don't bother writing a script or a story. Why? You see, the theme or the message gives you an end goal. It gives you a goal post, a target, a finish line you want to cross. That is how you ensure that you don't run out of steam. A lot of people start writing scripts and they don't finish it. Go and check. That script does not have a theme or a specific message. The moment your story has a message or a theme or an end goal, what you're trying to say, e.g., because theme might sound a little amorphous for some of us. When I say theme, what I mean is it could be something as simple as love overcomes everything. It could be as silly as if it is not making money, it's not making sense. Now, I just mentioned two themes now, and they could speak to the same film, meaning it's a story of a guy who's trying to date this girl and marry her. Now, if the theme is love overcomes all, then no matter what that girl goes through, no matter what um, stands against their relationship, she would make sure that love pulls through. If that is the story you're writing, there are things you would include, there are things you will not include. There's a way you write it to get to the destination you intend to get to, which is to prove that love overcomes all. However, if the theme, your message is if it is not making money, it is not making sense, and it is about the same set of people, same guy wants to date and marry same girl, but the girl has the mentality of it, if it's not making money, it's not making sense. Even if she loves the guy, at the end of the day she will walk away and find some other rich dude to follow. In this case, you see that it's the same characters, the same situation, but the story differs greatly because of the theme, because of the message. Am I communicating? So one of the most important things you want to lock down is the theme or the message of your film or the story you're trying to tell. Next off is characters. If the theme is the reason why you, the writer, can finish the material you're writing, the characters is the reason why audiences will sit down and watch you from beginning to the end. Yeah, so you have a complete script because you have a theme. What will make audiences care enough to see to the end are your characters. How interesting are your characters? Are they round and dynamic? And what are their motivations? Do your characters have a character arc? There are different kinds of character arcs. Redemption arc is one of the most common and one of the sweetest kinds of character arc. Or are your characters consistent? Meaning, a character arc is when your character starts at a certain point, but over the course of the story, they change. Meaning, it could be evil at the beginning of the film, but certain things happen to him. E.g., there's a lady who shows him love, and along the line, he changes from being this bad guy to being a much more homely person. That's a character arc. The opposite of that is when your character is consistent. What they are at the beginning of the film is what they are at the end of the film. Okay? And if your characters change, do you give us enough reasons to see the need for the change and appreciate it? And this part is the most important thing and what is missing in most Nigerian films. A lot of Nigerian films think that they understand what a character arc is. I mean, the writers, and they write some form of arc. They do ojoro to the answer, meaning you see the character change. It was bad, now it's good, or it was good, now it's bad. The question is not does your character change? The question is why? Do you give us, the audience, enough reasons to relate with the character enough and agree to their changing? Like, Do you see it like if it was me, if it was me too, I for change, I no go gree if it was me too. Except you write your script in such a way that the audiences can relate with why your character changed, then you've lost them. It's not just making them change, it is that you need to give us enough reasons to make them change. It is at this juncture I'll sneak in 2A, 2B, and 2C, where 2A is the goal, 2B is obstacle, and 2C is conflict. I mentioned this upstairs previously. So a goal, you need a well-defined, not so easy to achieve goal. That is why we will care about your character. Your character being a fine boy does not mean we'll care about him in this, I mean, vis-a-vis the story. You could love a certain actor and love that this actor is in this film, but it does not mean that you would enjoy the film and the character that this actor is playing, except you know what this character wants in this film and the hurdles they have to jump to achieve those goals. That is what will make the audience riveted and committed to enjoying the film. I don't know if I'm speaking to people. Next up is obstacle. I think I've explained this. So obstacle and conflict are things you want to add. Number three is genre. Now, this is funny. If you want to write a script, the only guarantee you have that you'll be able to finish that script is if you have a message, a theme that you're writing about. If you want audiences to care about that story you're writing, you need to have a strong character that has a goal, obstacles, and conflict. Good. Now, the third one is genre. Genre is how audiences determine whether they will hate you or they will love you at the end of the day. What is genre? Action, comedy, romantic, romance films, drama, and all of the. That is what we mean by genre. What exactly does genre do when you write? Every genre has its own set of rules that you must follow. And audiences, for example, if you go to watch a horror film, you want to get scared. If you watch a horror film and there's nothing scary about it, you feel disappointed. Or if you go to watch a romantic film and there's just fight, 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 and you can't really see any loving thing, you will feel disappointed. I said that to say this. Audiences have expectations based on the genre of the film you say you're writing. And the genre is what gets them to either be happy at the end of the day or to be sad at the end. I mean, like to feel fulfilled at the end of the day or otherwise. So it is important for you to know the genre you're writing, the rules of the genre you're writing, and stick to it and make sure you deliver on the genre that you're writing. Having stakes and consequences. Now, what is stake and what is consequences? Um, Okay, picture this story. So a man, a very rich guy is on his deathbed. He has a daughter, she's 29, she'll be 30 next year. And she's not only a feminist, she has sworn that she will not get married. The man is concerned for his daughter. And then he writes his will. And in his will, he indicates that if she would inherit him only if she gets married before she's 30. If she doesn't get married by 30 years old, all of his property should go to the motherless home. I don't know if you can get this. So number one is auntie has to find a man, marry the man before she's 30. What is at stake if she doesn't find a man to marry before she's 30? She will lose everything. That is how we, the audience, start rooting for her. You start counting time because now it's 3 months before her 30th birthday. Everybody understands that she's in a fix. She must do something now or she gets to lose everything. That is stakes. And stakes must have consequences. If you write a story that does not have stakes, or at the end of the day, the stakes does not come with consequences, the story falls flat. Lastly is a neat resolution. Your story should have a satisfying ending. If it doesn't, we've been following from beginning, no, by the end it's just like, has it finished? Like, what did I just watch? And no matter what work you've done from the beginning, you what's the English word I'm looking for now? You pour water in the mind of the audience, whatever that means in English. Okay, so you want to have a satisfying resolution at the end of your film. If you apply these 5 elements, you're off to a successful start as a writer. Okay, you can read the rest. The This is essentially a checklist of 5 things that if you build into the story you're writing, whether you are a newbie, somebody who's been writing before now, or even if you're a guru at writing, it is not too much to remind you of these 5 elements that if your script were to have them, it would make your script even much better than it is. Now, if you've witnessed this rundown and you're beginning to feel like, okay, I've heard these 5 things, but I'm not sure I understand everything to know how to implement it, maybe you should take our training that starts tomorrow, but more on that later. There's still a lot of grounds I want to cover before our 1 hour runs out. Okay, so this is batch one, a masterclass on what your script should have for it to be termed a world-class Netflix standard script. Okay, let's move on to part two. Part two is, what do producers look for when they want to buy your script? Why don't they buy? Okay, we'll come to how to sell your script in a minute. Let's come to what do producers look for in a script. Now, you'll be surprised. You will think that um, the story is what a producer is looking for when they want to buy a script. You will think that it is the characters. All of those come much, much later. Okay, let me give you a bit of producing masterclass. Confidence. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but you would understand in a minute now. You'd understand in a minute. You know, there is a problem with the script writing community. There are two in the whole of the filmmaking industry, producers, directors, actors. There are two practitioners who give me headache. They they are probably the most delusional of human beings. I'm sorry, we fall in that category. Just let me explain, let me land before you crucify me. I'll start first by giving an example. So, if the president of Nigeria, whether you like him or not, if he were to attend an event, who do you think they would invite to play music at this gathering? Would it be an amateur musician or a professional musician who's been ages at doing this? People of God, do you think
A
it's
professional
A
of course.
professional musician.
a professional musician,
A
right?
professional of course.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Exactly. We all understand the fact that these roles require a professional and not an amateur. Um, so let's bring it down to filmmaking. If you want to shoot your first film, who would you bring to handle the camera? A professional cinematographer who has excelled at shooting films, or one guy wey dey your street wey say, bros, me sef I fit shoot oo. Of the two, who would you allow to shoot your film?
A professional
A
cinematographer.
professional cinematographer. God bless you.
A professional
However,
cinematographer.
beautiful. However, if it comes to acting, you will see like this confident nigga will just come up and say, I can act now. Like, I don't understand. What training have you gotten to say you can act? Do you even know what acting is about? Like, you have little or no understanding of the craft. You think it is just being confident and like, is that the only qualification for being an actor? Sadly, in Nigeria, that's all you need. Oh, of course, I also be fine and know people. That's another story for another day. And then let's come to script writers. I know how to write story. And then is that what qualifies you to be a script writer? That you know how to write stories? Who told you know how to write stories? There are like 70 something people, 69. Yeah, there are about 72, 73 people in this meeting. How many of you have gone through some official, proper, structured script writing training for you to be able to beat your chest and say, I am a qualified script writer, a professional script writer? I'm sure I can't find up to 10. Yet, about 60 of those of you in this training want to sell your script. You are here not to learn how to write. You came primarily to learn how to sell. How to sell what exactly? What do you want to sell? I'm sorry, it sounds harsh. Forgive me. Forgive me. I'm just like being very, very realistic. Because if you don't know where you are, you will not know how to go forward. You need to understand the industry, understand the craft, understand the business, understand, like, minus all of that. We are learning, sir. Okay. All right. So, but before I go on, let me be sure. Am I correct when I say that at least half of those of us who are here came primarily for how to sell scripts, not necessarily how to write scripts? How correct am I about that? Please indicate in the chat section. Let me know which of the two categories you fall in. Did you come to sell or you came primarily to learn how to write? Okay, Elizabeth, I actually came to learn. That's good. That's good. Professional cinematographer to sell. Okay, to learn how to write, both to sell. I came to learn both. Okay, all right, it's fine. It's fine. Um, as a quick aside, there are three forms of narrative storytelling. Narrative storytelling meaning you're telling a story that is a narrative, different from documentary filmmaking, different from instructional filmmaking. Narrative storytelling. There are three forms of narrative storytelling. One is novels. We have 15 more minutes before the end of the class. One is literature, novels. Two is stage, theater. Three is films. And these three forms of filmmaking are different from each other. Let me explain. For novels, the power of novel writing is description. The degree to which you know how to describe is how interesting your novel will be. For stage, the lifeblood of stage play and theatre is dialogue. Almost everything is carried on in dialogue. Not description, dialogue. Film is the exact opposite of these two. The lifeblood of film is visuals, moving images. A scriptwriter is writing visually, communicating ideas in moving pictures. The problem we have, one of the major problems we have in the Nigerian script writing industry, the film industry as a whole, specifically writers, is most of the writers come from a novel writing background. They know how to write stories. They've written a couple of things, posted it online. People have told them, you're good, you're a good storyteller, da 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 da, da, and they automatically assume that they would become good script writers. Yes, script writing is also storytelling, but it is storytelling in a different form, shape, and manner from what you're used to. Am I communicating?
Yes,
Yes,
sir,
sir,
you're
you're
communicating.
communicating. Okay. So if what you've known how to do before now is how to write stories, especially as novels, you will need to learn. It doesn't have to be with our course. It is good if it is, and I'll tell you why you should take our course. Did I mention that the training starts tomorrow, Monday? But I'll come to that later. Whether you can learn with YouTube videos, you can learn by sitting down and watching other films and trying to break down how they wrote it. See, all of these are possible. So you don't necessarily have to take Lagos Film School's script writing class. It will be an easier way, but you don't have to. But by all means, learn. Learn your craft, polish your craft, hone your craft, be good at what you do. Having said that, let me come back to the cocoa that we're discussing. What are producers looking for in a script? Um, and I said the first thing is funny enough is not even the story. It's not whether it's a well put together story or not. That's like last on the list. The first thing a producer is looking for is the marketability of the story, of the script. I remember what I wanted to say before I started this rant of mine, and it was about the mindset of a producer. Who is a producer? A producer, in the most basic terms, is a businessman. He looks for a product, in this case, a script, a story, a tale, a narrative that he can make into a film. So he looks for a product. You know what I mean by product now? The script or the story. He finds money to make the product, meaning money to make the film, and he sells the film to make a profit. Let me say that again. A producer finds money to make a film and he sells the film to make a profit. That is a producer. The producer is not looking to promote you. The producer is not your friend, he's a businessman, and according to his own business, his own interests matters the most. So if a producer is buying a script, do you understand why marketability is the number one thing on his list? He's looking for a script that is marketable. After what is this film? Love Will Find a Way, or what's this? Achalugo film. I've forgotten the title of the film now. After that story, there were like 50 different films that had the same story idea, had the same actor in it, all of that, because they understand that this story is moving market. So they did their own version of the same thing so that they can move market. Simple. It is not whether the story is good or is not good, it's that this is moving markets. Myself, I go come body. Simple. So the first thing a producer is thinking of is how to make profit. So he's looking for a script that can evidently make him profit. Marketability is the first thing a producer is thinking of. Number two on his list is budget considerations. He wants to lower the cost of production as much as possible so that it would increase his profit when he sells the film. Does that make some sense? However, you, Mrs. Writer, you were dreaming in your head. The opening scene happens at the airport. By the way, the airport is just across from my window here. I'm looking at the um, runway from here. So if you hear noise from planes, just allow us. Now, planes pass here almost every 5 minutes. So your first scene, the opening scene of your film starts. Praise God, they brought light. Ah, the heat here has been crazy. At least now I can have AC. Sorry, forgive me. Where was I? Opening scene, airport. Do you know what it will cost for the producer to get the airport for the opening scene? He will probably spend 10 million or more to just get that 30 seconds opening scene. You think me as a producer, I will see script and the opening scene is airport and I will buy it? So I want all of you in this class to visit, if you've written anything before, revisit the material you have written and think of it from a budget point of view. How much would it have cost to make this film? The moment you have many locations, glamorous, luxurious locations, forget it. Nobody's buying that script. Nobody will touch it. Am I speaking sense to somebody tonight? So whether you've written before or you intend to write at a later time, your most important consideration is budget. Producers evaluate whether the script can be produced within a reasonable budget. This includes considerations for locations, special effects, and other production requirements. Once it is high, they move on. Next is genre suitability. For this, it will make sense when I explain it. Um, who knows Funke Akindele here? as if we don't know. Let me assume we don't. Do you know the kind of films Funke Akindele makes? Like she works in a specific genre. All her films, they figure in the comedy-ish, family drama-ish kind of productions. Have you noticed? Good. Now, you write horror film or you write action film, or wait, you are even very dramatic. You write a science fiction film and you want to sell it to Funke Akindele. Will she buy?
No,
No,
sir.
sir. Exactly. So genre is the third thing producers consider because almost every producer have a narrow niche, a narrow genre that they produce for. Once you don't write for their genre, they cannot buy. No matter how good your script is, that particular producer will not buy. Before we now come to almighty compelling story structure. But you see how many things they've considered before they even get to look at, does the story make sense or not? Whereas you as a writer, you have invested all of your life and writing into how good the script is, the story, who cares? Who sends? Nigerians actually have a very low bar as it concerns quality of films they watch. Our people will consume almost anything. Filmmakers know, so they make a lot of rubbish. Am I speaking to somebody? So
Very well, oh.
aha. So to sell your script, you need to understand the market, understand what producers are looking for, and speak their language. Otherwise, sorry, about half of us are back, 34 out of 64. Okay. Is Sandra back? Is Sandra here? Okay. All right. So where were we? I was talking about the five what producers look for in your script to determine whether they will buy or not. And the list I was running through, number one was marketability, number two is budget considerations. The third thing we looked at was genre suitability, and then we looked at you should have a compelling story structure. Okay, so I think with that, we're clear on what your story needs to have, what your script needs to have for it to be appealing to producers. Let's now come to the elephant in the room. Now that we know what the challenge is, how do you sell your script? How can you sell your script? Before we go into how to sell your script, you need to first understand why it is difficult to sell your script. Of course, one of those is the reason that we just highlighted about what producers are specifically looking for, but it goes above and beyond that. Nigeria is a very peculiar place. Outside of the country, if you're an artist, I mean a musician, and you do a record, a track, you get paid every time they play your song. In Nigeria, if you record song, you go and pay radio station for them to play your song new. I don't know if you're aware of this though. So things tend to work like the opposite in Nigeria. Outside of the country, you release a song. If radio stations play your song, they will pay you. In Nigeria, to get radio stations to play your song, you pay them. Same with Sound City, all of these music video channels. If you don't pay DJ no go play your song. Oh. Okay, so I said that to say this, that there is some unique upside down thing about this country, and you need to be aware of it, okay, so that you can work with that in mind to still achieve your goal. Okay, so what are some reasons why it is difficult for writers to sell their scripts? Those who've written scripts before and they've attempted to sell, they would understand this better. But then let's go ahead. Number one reason is their invisible gatekeepers. So Nollywood lacks a formal submission infrastructure. There is no official place where you can send your script to, unlike what obtains in other places. Okay, in the US, for example, there are agents. You find an agent, submit your script to the agent, and the job of the agent is to read through all the submissions, find some noteworthy scripts, and forward it to studios. Like, okay, these 5 scripts, I'm sure it will be worth your while. So agents are like screening partners to studios. They are like the middleman between you, the writer, and studios. So writers submit their script, I mean new writers submit their scripts to agents. Agents go through them, select the ones they think make sense, and forward it to the studios. But either ways, at least there is somebody who will first of all read your script to see whether it makes sense or not. If it makes sense, then you have a connect to the industry without you knowing anybody. There is no such thing in Nigeria. If there was, it would be easier. In the US, the you some people just write songs. Like they don't bother to sing the songs. Their job, wake up in the morning, come up with a crazy mad song, write it, record it, and send it to multiple studios. And the studio will like maybe call Beyonce. Listen to this, like I think it will work for you. Beyonce will like, I don't like it. They will take it to different artists. They'll find an artist who will like it. The artist will pay for it, and there again they have agents that do that. In Nigeria, Tenny wrote a song for Davido. Because she was even loud enough to mention that she wrote the song, they shamed her to thy kingdom come. That is the madness we have in this country. So many things that are normal. I mean, like it's the way things ought to be in other countries, they don't exist here in this country. Excuse me. So number
Sorry.
one is thank you very much. So number one is we have invisible gatekeepers because there is no formal submission structure. Okay, if there was, it would work. Number two on the list is producers buy people, not paper. That will sound strange, but you will get it in a minute. Just hold on. Producers buy what? People, not paper. Let me explain. I run a film school, so I've seen a lot of these things play out. 70 to 80% of those who come to Lagos Film School to learn video editing, they came because either their brother, their uncle, their auntie, somebody who is already in the industry needs a video editor. So they will call a relative from the village or maybe is already living in Lagos and say, you come, go and learn video editing. Why? That person becomes their in-house editor. Same with camera handler, operator, cinematographer. So a lot of people who come to learn, they already know what they are going to use it for. Because back in the day, our courses used to be 3 months in duration. By the end of the first month, we're done with lectures. The remaining 2 months is for practice. They don't wait. Once they learn, they know how to do it, they japa, they go and start whatever practice you want to do here, I can do with my auntie or with my uncle. And they don't wait to finish the course. That's why we scaled back our courses to just 4 weeks. Same thing with script writers. Most times you have somebody who is into the film industry, they will just call one nephew, one cousin, one brother. You two go and write this story now. You feel write am, and then they will take a script somebody wrote for them before. They will take the script and give him and say, so this one you change the man to woman, you change the boy to girl, you change Lagos to Akwa Ibom. Full stop. Go and do it if you do am. And that one too will go and do some and bring it. I don't know if you're getting where I'm going to with this. A lot of jobs that ought to be contracted out are done in-house. Producers buy people, not paper. The only reason why that kind of producer will buy scripts from somebody outside is because they are also now scaling up and they think they've seen that this person is not leveling up, they can rather buy scripts for this next level they want to go to. E.g., I used to do YouTube videos. I want to do a Netflix film. I know that this my brother. His head is not that correct. The script he's been writing and manage with a take user. So if he wants to aim higher, either a film that will go to the cinemas or go to Netflix, then he would look to contract it out to someone. Do you understand where I'm going to now? So people buy relationships, not paper. By paper, I mean not your script typed on paper. That's not really what they're looking for to buy. They are looking to buy relationships. Now, I just painted one relationship, a relative, literal relationship. At other times, it is somebody I know, e.g., Femi is my friend. I know Femi is Femi writes. I would readily reach out to Femi to write for me than somebody I don't know at all. Am I communicating? Or if somebody recommended, please turn off your mic. Thank you. Or if somebody recommended Shade or Chiamaka, or somebody recommended a Sandra to me, I would readily consider Sandra versus Messi, who I don't know from anybody. So people buy relationships, not necessarily paper. Are we on the same page? Okay, number three is market mismatch, meaning a lot of times writers have something, most writers are dreamers, maybe even delusional, even like the kind of world you live in your head. You can't be a writer and be normal. Did I say that? Most writers are not normal. Um, Welcome to the world. Like they live so much in their head, they cook up stories. Yeah, you have to live in some form of fantasy world to be able to come up with the mad stories you need to deliver. Okay, so it's understandable. And sometimes you write stuff that sounds abstract. You know what you're trying to say. You know that if this is made into a film, it will blow people's minds. But the producer doesn't know and the producer does not care. Like I said, producers have something specific that they are looking for. They know what the audience wants and they only want to give them what they want. Anything other than that, uncle, I don't want. So that's what I mean by market mismatch. What kind of script you want to write is not the kind of script the producer wants to buy. So except you can match what the producer wants, yeah, except you can write for the producer what they want, how they want it, they will rather look elsewhere. Okay. Next on the list is poor packaging. Now, a script alone is insufficient. Producers need a pitch deck, a proof of concept, and a clear vision. They don't buy just spiral bound paper, which is how most of you package your scripts. They buy a ready to finance project. Except you can communicate the fact that this script of yours is a ready to finance project, meaning sure banker, then most likely they will not buy. Remember what I said, they have other avenues, other sources for the watery scripts they've already been making. So if he's looking outside to buy, he's looking for something, you must blow his mind, and it's not the story. Remember, it is not so much of the story, it is everything else. Let me paint this picture. So there's this producer, um, he goes to this club on a regular and he leaves around 8 p.m. So they told Femi that you can see that producer at 8. He comes out from this club, 8 o'clock. So Femi goes to wait in front of the club, waiting for the producer to come out. And indeed, as the producer is approaching his car, Femi walks up to him and is like, "Sir, can I get a minute of your time? I'm a script writer, and I've written a couple of scripts. I don't know if you might just want to take a look at some of the things I've written." The producer is like, "Okay," and Femi hands him his script. Mr. Man gets into the car. What do you think it will be the first thing he will do with the script? He will fling it somewhere. Wait. It will not be clear until you hear the second scenario. And then Chukudi, also a scriptwriter, got the same information that this producer leaves this club by 8 p.m. and he goes to waylay him, just like Femi did. However, this is his own approach. As he sees the producer coming out, he goes to him and is like, "Sir, hi, my name is Chukudi. I'm a writer. Do you mind if I show you something? And he brings out his phone and he plays this short film. At first, Chukwudi is like, the producer is almost like, well, hmm, okay, you wrote this? Yes, sir. I wrote it. Me and some friends of mine, we just shot it. We put it together. It's just a 2 minutes short film. Yeah. So, can I get you interested in some of the other scripts I've written? Maybe you could just take a look at my log lines. Of the two of them, who do you think the producer would give a second chance? Like, let me even see what this person has. Femi, the one with just paper, or Chukwudi, the one who has packaged his short film into a script, sorry, into a video on his phone that he can show you evidence, proof of concept. You could say like this is just a 2 minutes of the film. Like the script is ready. I just shot one scene. Like so that if you like it, I can, you all agree that he would readily consider Chukwudi. That's what I mean by poor packaging. Most writers package their scripts poorly. Finally, financial risk. Does anybody have an idea how much it takes to make a film? Like, I mean, a average YouTube film, not even Netflix standard, not cinema grade. I mean, just these basic films they post on YouTube. Can anybody type? Do you have any idea how much these films cost? Just guess. 1 million and above. 1 million bawo. When actors collect more than 1 million naira per day, Oluchi says 15 million, Mercy says 5 to 10, Sandra maybe around 3 million, Jessica 7 to 10, Okunola 10 million, Oluwa 20, Butterfly 30 million, Ishaku 8 million. Movies cost over 25 to 50. Okay. Joseph 5 million to 10 million. Okay, Oluchi Joy, I wanted to say 30 million. Okay. Now, if you say anything from 10 million plus or minus, then you're correct. Okay. Let me paint a rough picture so that it will be, you will see that it adds up in a little time. Your average actor would charge you, depending on A list, B list, C list actor. Some charge as much as 1 million, 2 million naira per day to show up on your set. Some will collect 500k. Okay, but most known actors collect more than above upwards of 1 million per day. So meaning that if you have three known actors in your film, you can budget about 5 to 10 million naira for actor fees alone. Wait, so that's just the stars minus the other actors. Good. Um, they don't beg people to use their houses, so they go to rent short-let apartments, and that's from 250k, 350k upwards per day. And a film takes roughly 5 days. Some shoot four, some shoot five, some even seven. Let's stay at five. So if you have the same actor on set for 5 days and you're paying them 1 million naira per day, and you have four of those actors on your set, that's about 12 million. If you're renting an apartment for 250k per day for location, and you have two of those, that's 500k per day. For five locations, that's 2.5 million. If you're renting cameras and the operator, the camera operator will charge 50k, the DOP will take 50k, you will come with two operators, they will charge like 30k each. So that's a little over, let's just say 120, 150 for the crew per day for 5 days. That's 150 times 5, 750. The camera that they will rent is also about 150, 250, 300, depending on the grade of camera that they rent per day. So at 200k per day for 5 days, and they rent two cameras minimum, that's upward of 1 million. Should I continue? Welfare, you feed them at least 2 meals, all of your crew and cast, logistics, editing. Editor will collect 400k, 500k, maybe 300 for the film. Do you say that we've calculated 10 million naira already? What did I say? What do I mean by 10? 20 million already. Because actor alone was about 12 million. Now, am I saying it can be cheaper? Of course, it can be cheaper. But most films cost between 10 and 20 million naira to produce. So if you're going to spend that much to make a film, do you want to, I mean, like now you want to be serious as a producer to make a film? Do you want to just get anybody wey dey waka for road wey say im get script? Is that the person you would take their script from and buy and make into a film? Most likely no, which is why relationships is the key to selling scripts. Anyways, I think I've flogged this issue enough. You have a rough idea of why it's not easy for a first timer, a newcomer to sell their scripts. All right, so let's now go to, so what do you do? How can, what's it called? Because the challenge is this: if you're not, if you've not made a film, if you've not written a script that has been made into a film before, wait a minute. Let me do a quick quiz. Who knows the difference between an author and a writer? What is 50 naira prize? Whoever gets it will collect 50 naira. Oh, for 50 naira. Who knows the difference between an author and a writer? Ha, Sandra. You must have been in one of my classes before, Sandra. This is Ojuru. Sandra, this is Ojuru. I should make it 80 naira. Wow. Oh, you haven't. Okay, that's exactly the difference between an author and a writer. A author is a published writer. So you could be a writer, but until you get published, you can't wear the hat, call yourself an author. Let's juxtapose that to script writing. Until you write a script that has been made into a film, you are not a script writer. If you call yourself a script writer, you are a fraud. Sorry. I don't mean to call anybody a fraud. I was just being, you know. But really, it is not until you get a screen credit, meaning something you've written has been made into a film, whether a short film, a TV series, a web series, a feature length film, whatever it is, it's not until then that you can call yourself a script writer indeed. And it is not until then that you can actually start commanding a sensible rate in the market. Am I speaking to someone? There is a difference from sir, I'm a writer versus I have written ABCXYZ and I'm trying to sell something to you. I don't know if you get the idea I'm trying to pass across. So this is where this broken circle thing comes into play because you can't get a high fee until you're a proven writer, right? Yet you can't get proven as a writer until you've sold scripts. Yet you can't sell scripts to get a high fee until you have been proven. Meaning, if we don't, if if you are not proven as a writer, you can't command a high fee. It is because you've sold scripts that you can get proven. Yet, if you can't sell scripts, you can't get a high fee. So it becomes a vicious circle of if I don't write and get screen credits, I can't charge a high rate. Yet, if the person who wants to buy wants to know that I have written something that has been made into a film before, it's just like what they do with CVs. That they will say if you have 10 years experience for a 21-year-old graduate, where you won't find them. Summary is the industry will not trust you until you are a success. It is for this reason that we have and we are suggesting a solution. The way to bypass this system. Yeah, and we call it the Script Hub. What is Script Hub? The Script Hub is a platform that brings producers and script writers under the same platform. It's a platform where producers can discover what you've written and possibly buy it. But if you've been listening to me from the beginning, you know that that is not going to work. The fact that you post your script as a beginner scriptwriter does not mean a producer will come and read the log line and buy it. It is not going to happen, except there is some intervention. That intervention is what we want to do. So let me say it in simple English. Our goal is simple. Step one, get as many people as possible, I mean aspiring writers, into our paid script writing program. It's a 30-day script writing bootcamp where 10 days of lectures, 21 days of writing practice. And in that period, you write a couple of scripts, about 10 of them. 5 short films, 2 adverts, 1 documentary, and a couple of other scripts that you must write over that 30-day period. Then there is an extra 3 months period as like a mentorship thing, meaning 30 days, you do the course, you graduate. Is it for beginners? Yes, 100%. Actually, almost everybody who calls themselves a scriptwriter is still a beginner. But having said that, you go through the program so that we are sure of the quality of writing you can do. After you graduate, you join the Script Hub program, the platform. There's a secret to the platform. During your studentship, you would have written a feature length film. That script that you write, you are dashing it away. Just follow. Just listen to me and follow this. So we post that script on Script Hub. We right now partner with a number of producers, and the goal is simple. We're offering the producers one script for free, meaning this is Lagos Film School. We have trained writers who we can vouch for, and they have written scripts. Take a look and see anyone that aligns with and you would love to choose. They pick one, it's for free, 100%. Pay nothing, shoot it. Step one, when they shoot the film, do you now have a producing credit? Yes, you do. You are no longer I'm a scriptwriter by mouth. You're a scriptwriter whose script has been produced into a film. Not by one year producer, somebody that makes sense. That's step one. Step two is the producer enters an agreement with us. If they like that script, if it makes a world of sense, the next script they are buying will be from the same writer and they will pay for that second script. So essentially what you are doing is A, you're paying to learn how to write. B, you're writing 2 scripts for the price of one. Meaning if you follow through, you write 2 scripts but you get paid for one, but you've gotten a direct access to Nollywood, where not only have you written a script, you've written 2 now that have been produced into films, and you've gotten paid for one of them. I mean the full industry price. Let me talk about industry price. Would you be shocked? Would you be shocked if I told you that there are writers in this country that still charge 25,000 naira for a script, a feature length script? No, not like they charge it, but that's how much they pay them. They want to charge higher, but they can't. See, the moment you start small, they will start offering you small money. There's a level you start at that they cannot afford to offer you small money. That is what we're trying to do for those who pass through us. In simple English. Jessica, I'm serious. I can give you somebody's number. You speak to her, you say you want to write a script, you offer her 25K. She might argue and say, pay me 30K. Even she has resigned to fate because that's how much they pay her on a regular. And she knows her craft. She's not a quack. But the network of people around her and the people who she services, they can't, even if they can, they will not pay more than that. It's sad. I've told her to leave that village, but she no agree answer. By the way, it's Benin. She lives in Benin. And I don't know what's up with Benin filmmakers, but ah, it's a wild, wild jungle in that place. But back to here. So This is our offer. There's how many people in class right now? There's like 52, 53 people. If you want to commence your journey into the world of script writing and you don't want to start small, you want to one, learn and master how it is done well, and B, get the right connect, the right leverage into the industry so that your journey after your learning is smooth. I'd recommend you join this our 30-day script writing bootcamp, and it starts tomorrow. The beautiful part is the learning part is only 10 days. Actually, it is three phases. Phase one, I think I have a, let me put it on the screen so that you can read while I'm talking about it. It might be easier if you can read what it is I'm saying. Yeah, there it is. So the training has three phases. Phase one and phase two are together. Phase one and phase two together makes 30 days. Phase three is 3 months. Okay, phase one, the learning half. First 10 days is for lectures. We don't hold lectures on weekends, just weekdays, Monday to Friday. So if we start tomorrow, we'll do Monday to Friday of next week and Monday to Friday of the upper week, and we're done with the lecture half of learning script writing. Then we'll do 21 days of writing practice. That's where you would write a minimum of 10 short productions, short films, silent films, adverts, documentary, music video. You write a number of materials to cut your teeth with. Now, some of this stuff you write will be shot into a film for you. So you have a mini producing credit even as a student of the school. Phase two ends, we graduate, you collect your certificate of completion from Lagos Film School. I don't know if you've seen our certificates before. Beautiful things like that. And then we get to the phase three. Now you're done with learning, you have even graduated. But we have this extra phase where you're working on your feature length film. Some people can finish a film in 2 weeks, some it's 2 months. But we left 3 months. You can finish yours before the 3 months. You can choose to write more than one in those 3 months. It's left to you. But worst case scenario is you should be able to finish one script in 3 months. And it's a mentorship kind of thing. You write the outline, submit it. We'll give you notes on what is working, what is not working. You take it back, adjust, and resend until it makes sense and it's perfect. Okay, and then the finished feature length film is what we're going to one, list on Script Hub, and B, send to a producer who would adopt the script, make it into a film. It's not paying you for that one, but subsequent productions they do, they will pay you for it at the industry rates. Let me leave it at that. Okay, so that's what it's about. It starts Monday. So yes, training fees. That's true. I'm making it sound as if um, there's not money involved. There is, and it's a lot. Our training is not particularly free. It's not cheap, rather. Tuition is 100K. Registration fee is 10K. But for this Christmas, I'm doing a 75% discount. So if you start up with us tomorrow, you're paying 25K instead of 50, instead of 100 rather. So you're getting 75% discount. That third line, don't read it. I've decided to remove that third line. I wanted to do like a first time people who pay today, they pay just for the registration fee of 10K. Nah. So let's just stick to the 75% discount. If you're joining the class tomorrow, if from January of next year, the next batch of training, yeah, it's online. The training is 100% online. Our address, we can, if you want to physically come to the school to see what we do, fine. But the training is online. All of the 30 days, everything is online. Okay? Because I know people come from as far as Adamawa, the North, Akwa Ibom who want to join the program. It's not easy for them to travel to Lagos just for a script writing class. So it's online. Yeah, so let's start to round off now. Number one, did you get some form of value from this class today? Whether you're joining the paid class or not. Exclusive, you're listening from Asaba. That's good. It's a pleasure to have you. Okay. All right. I'm glad that you got some measure of um value. Like I said, you don't have to take this paid class. It is only for people who, okay, I want to take this to the next level, okay, and then take this. The essence of this is just to give value first off, and then those who want to join the writing program, they get introduced to it, they can take the writing program. Okay, so yeah, is anybody indicating interest in the um, boot camp, the 30-day boot camp? You'll be paying only 25K. Would excuse the registration fees, give you 75% discount. Sadly, if you can't, can we see the boot camp screen again, please? Okay, there it is. Can you see the screen now? This is what we are going with to this one. I can't even select it from here. Next year, the next session that starts next year, tuition fee will be back to 100K with 10K registration. So if for one reason or the other you want to, but you can't take it now, you would have to pay 110K in January for the training. But we're just doing like December Christmas thingy is where we're giving the 75% discount. So for 25K, you can register for the program. Nobody has indicated now. Should we just close the class and go home? If you're okay with this, it's fine. Ha! See as everywhere is quiet. If pin drop, we go hear am. Please drop the payment details so we can see. Ah, payment details. Okay. That's on my other computer. Let me find it. Like I said, I wasn't planning to use this laptop for the presentation. Um, um, 205876 6156. Pending when Tinubu and the new tax law comes into effect, we are still using personal accounts. By January next year, we'll revert back to the company account. So, isn't learning self-paced? Will there be a certificate? Yeah, there will definitely be a certificate. Let me read all that you posted. I can't. Um, data, or isn't learning self-paced? Will there be a certificate? Any assessment? Is this class recorded? Yes, it is. Can I DM you for this? That's David Onyedikachi. Yeah, sure, you can DM me. Butterfly, yes, you can. We can talk privately. Um, okay, you know what? If it would encourage you, let's go back to this. For 10 people, maybe I should just stick to this for tonight. Let me reopen this. If for 10 people, um, who would indicate that they are starting today, okay, you can pay zero tuition and pay only the registration fee of 10K. This one that nobody wants to bail the cat. If that is what would help us to get some people committed, Sandra, I'm starting. Mr. B, can you please share a bit info on other courses, cinematography, video editing? Yeah, our cinematography class is a 4 weeks um, training. Same with the video editing, is also 4 weeks. Lectures hold 3 times a week, Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Um, let me see what else. It's a very intensive training, 2 weeks of lectures, 2 weeks of productions. You will shoot 5 projects over the period of the 4 weeks. And if you're taking the editing class, you would edit for 5 projects. Each of the courses is 100K. Cinematography is 100, video editing is 100. If you're taking both, you can get a 10% discount. Let me see. Okunola Abib, I've learned something good in here. It's a pleasure. Thank you. Oluwabukola, after this class, will you be organizing another one? Yes, we'll be organizing another one, Bukola, but the fee would go back to the regular tuition fee of 100. Um, Chukwemeka Gideon, I'm hugely interested. Not so I will start. Okay, that's good. Sandra, I'm starting. Who else? Can I DM you for this? I read a message I wanted to reply to. Yeah, data. Is this learning self-paced? Yes and no. While I want to experiment with the self-paced thing, and I just might, but for now, the arrangement we have is lectures hold 7 to 9 every day for, like I said, weekdays only, 7 to 9 p.m. in the evening. The classes are recorded. So even if you miss a lecture, you can always rewatch. So it is self-paced in that from that angle. There's constant, regular, what's it called? Daily exercises. So you were asking if it is as if there's any form of assessment. Yes and no. Assessment in the sense of is not a marked graded assessment. No. However, you get daily exercises that you have to do, submit. You get notes that you have to effect and resubmit. So if you write a script, I'll give you notes on what is not working. You take that back, incorporate it into the script, resubmit it, as many times as is needed until you get an okay. So that's the form of assessment we do. We don't do a 7 over 10, 8 over 10 kind of assessment. That doesn't help anybody, I think. So, yeah, I hope I've answered all your questions. Data O. So, and then there is a certificate, definitely. Is using AI to guide you advisable? Uh, so, I can tell you categorically that AI is not there yet. It will be very soon, but AI is not really there yet as it concerns using AI to write scripts. However, you can use AI as a research assistant. Yeah, you can use AI to, because one of the things we'll learn is the bit sheet. The bit sheet is how you structure your story. So you can use AI to proofread after you have written, but you can't, it's not advisable to use it to generate something from nothing. AI is used to polish what you've written already. If that's how you plan to use it, fine, go ahead. But if you want to use AI as like the originator of, nah, it will just peel out. It's so easy to tell. Mr. B exclusive, how will this paid class be? Is it a pre-recorded class or a live class? And how is the class going to be in terms of days and time? You know, this is festive period. Okay, I've explained before. Let me say it again. The There are 3 phases to the training. Phase one is 10 days of lectures. It starts tomorrow, so it would end before Christmas. Lectures is online and it is only in the evenings, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. It is live. However, classes are recorded. So even if you miss the class, you can always rewatch the class the next day and attend to the assignments. I hope that has answered the question. Be exclusive. Is there a certificate? Blessing Samson, yes, definitely there is a certificate at the end of the class. All right. Thank you very much for attending class today. It was a pleasure having you. I enjoyed every minute of it. I hope you enjoyed it too. If you have any questions subsequently, you can DM me. Even if you're not taking the class, you can send me a message. I would always respond. The name of the school again is Lagos Film School. We are at Mafoluku in Oshodi. My name is Damola Adenle. I'm the director here at Lagos Film School. My assistant, Tiolu Wanimi, thank you very much for being there throughout the day. Yeah. So until some other time, and if you can't take this class, if it's some other class, reach out to us. If it's the cinematography class, okay, so our other courses, cinematography, video editing, producing, directing, acting, and VFX. Okay, so you can reach out to us. Either you personally want to take, or you know anybody who should take any of our courses, do well to introduce us to them, introduce them to us. Either ways, will be at your disposal. So um, enjoy the rest of the night. Enjoy the rest of 2025. 2026 will be a beautiful year for all of us. Thank you very much and God bless.